Be Live community, and happy Women's Month. There are so many people out there, millions of people around the world that are looking for a personality just like yours. Whether you're a live streamer, a content creator, an entrepreneur who just wants to put your best foot forward, it's as simple as that. Put your best foot forward. People want to see your smile, your personality, your uniqueness, and the things that you have to offer the community. Number 2, don't buy into the hype. Don't run out and get a bunch of cameras and new lights and new setups and new clothes and new this and new that and new phones. Simple, start with what you have. Start with a smartphone that you have, just like I'm using right now. Number 3, have a great platform, something that's user-friendly, easy to navigate, and has the basics that you need, like Be Live. Get out there and stream because there are people are looking just for you.
Well, hey everybody, and welcome to our brand new episode celebrating Women's Month all month long. Today, we are talking all about boosting your on-screen confidence, and today we are talking to the fabulous Ella. Ella is an award-winning vocalist who is a well-versed entertainer with a voice for positivity and confidence. She has appeared on stages around the world, including on television and radio, and she's a TEDx speaker. Ella, how are you?
Hello, I'm so excited to be here.
I'm so excited. It's been a hot minute since we've talked, and you always bring such good tips and information to your live streams. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
So, I mean, you said all the things. Yes, I am an entertainer. I am an event producer. I am a singer. I am a TEDx speaker. I am all of those things. And that's really me in a nutshell. And I'm a mom. I'm a mom as well. So a mom and a wife, and all of those things rolled into one. I am Superwoman, essentially.
That's correct. That's correct. Happy Women's Month, everyone. If you are joining us live, we are open to questions from you. Today, we're talking all about on-camera confidence. So drop your questions about growing your confidence while you are live streaming for Ella down below. We'll answer those in just a little bit. Today, we're talking all about creating that on-screen presence. So Ella, for you, what was it that initially drew you to the world of performance? And specifically, how did you begin cultivating your on-screen presence?
Okay. So the world of performance for me started when I was a little girl. I wanted to be on the stage. I wanted to sing. I wanted to dance. I wanted to do all the things that had to do with being in front of a crowd. That being said, being on stage is very different than being on camera.
Yes.
In my mind, I was going to be an EGOT winner. That was the goal. That was the dream. However, I had a little bit of a fear of doing anything that involved lines. And for a majority of my career, I avoided, like the plague, anything that involved me speaking lines more than 10 words. Because in my mind, and this has to do with the mindset and the paradigm that I lived in at the time, right? In my mind, I just assumed that the only reason people wanted to see me, hear me, was to see me, hear me sing. No one wanted to hear me speak. That was the story that I told myself. And it wasn't until probably 2015, I believe, is when I was admonished by one of my coaches. And said, she didn't admonish me. She encouraged me heavily to get on camera. But she could do that because she too was a singer. And she understood the mindset that I had and the fear that I had for speaking. But she also knew that I had something to say. And as scary as it was, and I want to tell you, even at this moment right now, going on camera is still something that's scary for me, especially when I'm there alone. It's a lot easier when I've got other people on the screen with me,
Yeah.
but I know the fear. I will tell you, just yesterday, can I share something?
Oh, please.
As much as people think that I'm just like, oh my God, I love the camera all day long. Yesterday, I was supposed to go live according to my schedule, right?
Okay.
And I got scared and
Oh,
instead just posted whatever graphic that I had to post with the with what I was going to talk about. I just could not get myself to get on camera yesterday. And I've been doing this, like I said, since 2015.
right.
So the fear doesn't necessarily go away. We just have to work through that stuff. I'll
And I
be on
love
next
that you're
week.
still experiencing that, even though you are somebody who teaches and coaches and educates people through this so that they can be more fearless on their live streams. You're still getting hit with these things and you're still learning how to deal with it. You're still figuring out ways that are going to work best for you. And that actually kind of brings me to our next question. I want to talk about practical tips for camera confidence. So, what are 3 tips that you would give to somebody who is struggling with being on camera?
So one of the things that would have helped me a lot better yesterday was to have been more prepared. That was
Yep,
that
that's
was
what it comes down to.
honestly the reason why I was scared. I knew what I wanted to say. And I know that there are people that are watching that know what it is that they want to say. But if you don't sit down and take the time to actually organize those thoughts, you will end up like I was yesterday with an inability to be able to get on camera because not afraid of the people or what the camera may do, but afraid of stumbling over your words
Mhm.
and afraid that everything won't come out right. I feel like those are more the feeling than the feelings that are the surface feelings of like, I don't like the way I look when I'm on camera. We can fix that. All of that is fixed. I mean, everything is fixable,
Yeah.
right? But the real fear is that I'm not sure if what I'm going to say is going to come out right. And the way to get over that is to just prepare. And being prepared does not mean that you have to be fully scripted. It does not mean that even if you are fully scripted, because a lot of my stuff I script,
Yep.
just because you're scripted doesn't mean that you have to sound scripted,
Right.
right?
For
So,
sure.
but all of that takes practice. It all takes practice. It does not happen on try number one. It just doesn't.
Right. That is so true. And I really feel like making sure we know what is coming is valuable for that confidence. I know for me, especially when I first started, if I had notes, I could look at those bullet points and know where I was going next. And knowing where I was going next allowed me the freedom to say what I needed to say without having to be in my head about, well, where am I going? How am I transitioning? How am I going to do this? So having those
Exactly.
notes, so incredibly valuable. And that's why I like the different versions of live streaming. So if you're doing something on like TikTok or Instagram and you're using your phone, you can have notes near it. If you're doing something on YouTube or on Facebook and you're using a program like Be Live, you've got the agenda notes right there so you can continue to look at the camera, know what you're saying, and have that fearlessness with the conversation you're having. So as you are then preparing, Ella, to go on your live streams, to do all of your on-camera work, do you have any specific routines or do you have any techniques that you use before you go live to make sure you get in the right mindset?
Yeah. So, um, what should I have done yesterday? We're just going to push. I have,
I
case
love this
study.
narrative. This is the best narrative. Let's go.
Recent case study. What should I have done yesterday? So, I mean, besides the being prepared is the biggest key, but how do you get prepared is the question that you're asking.
Mhm.
And one of the things that I do, we as creatives always have 50 billion ideas running through our heads. And one of the things that I know can be scary in that preparation is what if you don't say everything?
Mhm.
If you can remind yourself in your prep time that even if you don't say everything, this is not the last time you have to go live.
Yeah.
you can you can come back next week and talk about that thing that you missed. So if
Yeah.
you can allow yourself the grace of mistakes, um, obviously prepare in excellence. I'm not saying to prepare and be sloppy. Prepare to be excellent. And in that preparation to be excellent, allow yourself the grace to make mistakes.
I think that's beautifully put. And I've actually had to implement that in my live streaming as well. If there was something that I missed or I felt like I didn't say very well, I can create a spin-off episode and then dig really deep. So sometimes those mistakes are actually an opportunity to create more and to do more and to go deeper on those conversations. So I
Yeah.
really love that you mentioned that. Dan is in our comments and he's saying, I usually use 3 or 4 bullet points written down. Dan, that is a great process for your live streaming. And if you are joining us live, which we see that you are, go ahead and drop your questions for Ella down below. We're going to be looking at those in just a few minutes. But if you're on our replay, we want to hear from you too. We are going to be mindful of those questions coming in. We want to get you answers. We're going to get Ella back for some more episodes. So shout her out if you want to see more of Ella. And make sure that you let us know how you prepare for your live stream so that you can feel confident as you are addressing your audience, building up that community and conversation. And on that very specific note, Ella, I want to talk a little bit about how you engage with your online audience. So what do you do to captivate attention? What do you do to get people to stop their scroll? And what do you do to get them to then comment and interact with you?
Yeah. So there are all kinds of techniques and things that we can do to get people to actually engage with us. But one of the things is something that you just simply did, literally asking the question. Just say it. Tell me something in the comments. It can be as simple as that.
Yep.
But the other thing that does keep people engaged is what it is that you have. I just said this to someone just yesterday, actually. What you have or don't have on the screen can be engaging, right? So there are things that I am quite aware of with my particular setup, which my setup compared to a lot of other people's setups is quite sparse. But my setup is very recognizable because of what it is, how it is that I do things. And you know that you're going to get the setup that a lot of people sometimes think that this is a green screen, but I promise you that that is real.
Yeah.
It is not a green screen. But it also creates a place of interest. And then there are other things I may put onto the screen that will draw the eye to where it is that I want the eye to go. And that's the thing with engagement. And when I'm talking with clients about what it is that we're going to do with their particular event, when it comes to what's happening on the screen, we as the authority on the screen have to be the magician in the room.
Yeah.
And direct the audience to where you want them to go. And one of my favorite examples of this, of it being done with absolute excellence, and it had nothing to do with any type of digital things that he had on the screen. I was watching a magician. Oftentimes I like to go and watch other people to see what it is they're doing virtually and what I can apply to my clients. And this particular magician was absolutely incredible. There's a lot of magicians that work online, and not all of them are great, but not all of them understand story, right? And this particular magician, when he started, first of all, his room was beautiful. It was a bedroom. He was in a corner. Yes, you could tell that, but it was dressed in a nice way that wasn't distracting, right? But there was something in the room, and we could see that there were different things. And me being me, I knew that all of those things had a purpose, but I loved the way that he had it set up so that it didn't feel distracting. But one of the things that he had was a red balloon.
Okay.
And the red balloon was distracting on purpose because when he started, we could all see the red balloon. And of course, people are going to be asking questions in their mind. What is the red balloon for? Right?
Yeah.
But it's because he thought of the end, because that balloon was actually for the last trick. It started with him. He mentioned the balloon and he actually let it go at the beginning of the show. And that red balloon, I kid you not, ended up at one of our houses. I wish it was mine. I don't know how it was done. But that is the power of being able to think through the end, think through all of the things that need to happen to get to the end goal. And as a live streamer, as an event planner, as a virtual event planner, these are the things that I'm thinking about for my clients. I'm thinking about what are the steps that we need to take from point A to point B to get their direction, to get their attention. Because now I'm wondering about the balloon. Like he's got me on the other stuff and he got me into other things. but I wonder what happened to that red balloon. But I didn't wonder about it to the point that I was thinking about it the entire time until he brought it up again. And we're like, oh yeah, foreshadowing. Tell us about the balloon.
Yeah.
And then it was at somebody's house.
Wow, that's brilliant. And I really like that you brought in foreshadowing. When you think of the end, you can work your way backward to leave those little breadcrumbs so that when you get to that main point that you're talking about, or that big thing that you want people to take away, they're already conditioned and ready to get to that big moment because you're laying the groundwork because you already know where you're going to. So that is such an incredibly helpful tip. Now, we do have some fabulous people leaving all the comments, all of the love. We're going to get to your questions in just a couple of minutes. But while we're on the subject of talking about the right things to do, the things that we should be looking for, the way that we should be leaving those breadcrumbs, we also have to talk about the inverse. What are some of those common mistakes that you see from people that doesn't really help with their camera confidence and making sure that they are doing what they need to deliver the message in the way that they want?
One of the easiest things can be fixed, but I see so often is not understanding how to utilize their camera properly. And seeing people who feel like the only way that they could get better is if they spend $1,000+ on a brand new camera. And what
Yeah.
I'm here to tell you is that maybe you just need to turn on a light. I'm just saying. It could be, let me save you some money.
Yeah.
It could be as simple as turning on a light. That being said, the inverse is true. Sometimes turning on the right light.
Yes.
Because, for instance, in my room right now, while I look well lit, I do not have the light above my head, my room light turned on. I've got two lights here beside me that are doing the work, but not this overhead light because look, I don't like shadows under my eyes. I do not look like a raccoon. I don't need that in my life, nor
Yep.
do you. So please turn off the overhead light.
Yes. As a longtime photographer, yes and thank you.
I would also like to say, stop it with the ring lights. Stop it with the ring light. It is not doing you the favors that you thought it was. It is not. It is causing more shadows than you ever dreamed. Just step away from the ring light.
Learning lighting is incredibly important. And if you are somebody who wants to study lighting, YouTube is just above and beyond with tutorials. Just jump on and look at how to light yourself with multiple lights, with flat lighting, learn about natural light from big windows, learn about all those different things, and then use what you have access to. Earlier, Ella was talking about how you should be using what you have access to. You don't have to spend thousands of dollars. So what right now in your house can you use to create light, to bounce and reflect light? What can you use? And then level up as you grow. You don't have to spend thousands of dollars on lights. Use what you've got and then grow from there.
Exactly.
Do you concur?
Yes, I like to call it shop your house.
Yes.
You already have things. I will often tell people, do you have any lamps? Let's get a lamp. Just put the lamp in
Yep.
front of you. That creates a lovely warm, and it's got a shade on it. It's already got diffusion. Look.
Yeah. We've got it. It's done.
It's warm. You don't have to do anything else. Just put it there. It's great.
Yep. Exactly. My background right now, these are just light bulbs. These are not professional lighting. I have professional lighting as a professional photographer and videographer, but these are just color changing light bulbs that I have tucked behind what I'm doing, and I've illuminated my background. I can change the colors. I can match my outfits. I could match my guests. Light bulbs, they cost me $20. It was not expensive to do that.
It is amazing. And look, this is my son's favorite thing. So now I'm going to change my life because
Yes.
because I can't. He's like, what? So he likes to come in. It's on my phone.
Yep.
These lights, just like you were saying, these
Yeah.
lights that I have behind me are they're less than $50 for
We love changing light colors.
they're less than $50 for a set of 2 on Amazon, and they will go on your phone and do the things that you need them to do and call it a day. And call
Look
it a
at
day.
how
Like,
easy.
I mean, you've got a white wall, and I've got this is a bed sheet.
There you go.
This
Look
is a
how
bed
easy.
sheet. It used to be a bed sheet from my actual bed, but I've since put my bed sheet on my bed and bought a bed sheet from Amazon.
There you go. But you don't have to overcomplicate this. You do not have to be so in your head about the backgrounds. You do not have to be so in your head about the technology, about the lighting, about the camera sources. Use what you have, and then you can focus on where it's actually important, the message that you're delivering.
Yeah. I want you to have a clear picture. I want you to have a clear picture because yes, having fuzzy picture, that is distracting when
Yes.
you have a camera that is fuzzy or
Mhm.
but those are things that you can do for free. And oftentimes the fuzz has to do with the lighting and not to do with the camera. When you
Right.
set the light up correctly, your camera will probably do the focusing it needs to do.
Yeah.
And then if you will just frame it correctly,
Mhm.
meaning you're not peeping in from the bottom because nobody wants a peeper.
No. That is so true.
If you frame it correctly, you can add the other things along the way. Start
Yeah.
with what you've got.
And I love that concept. You can build from where you're at. So if you start something and you try it and it works, you can build on that. If you try
Mhm.
something and it doesn't work quite the way that you thought it would, you can tweak it. You can change the position of that camera. You can change the coloring behind you. You can change the lighting or where you're setting up. All those things are fixable.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. And I would say I'm going to say something and I might smack my hand for saying it. But I'm going to say it anyway.
Do it.
Just start. And you're going to hear this all the
Yes.
time, the just start. And I
Yeah.
want you to just start, and I'm saying it with a caveat because I want you to take these things that we're saying very seriously. Because if you are going live, if you're doing this, most likely you're doing it for your business.
Yeah.
And the caveat on top of the just start is to make sure that you get these little things that we're talking about right now right at the start, because this is
Yeah.
your brand.
Mhm.
And there are people that will forgive you for many things, but why start at the bottom if you don't have to? We're giving you the tools right now so that you don't have to start from the bottom. Now we're here. We start from here and then go there. So
Start at the best you possibly can, then improve.
right, right. And that means you don't have to go spend any money. You don't have to be scared about anything. We've told you now you can go to your house, find what you have in your house. You already have an excellent camera. If you have an iPhone, if you have an Android, if you have an iPhone, you've already paid thousands of dollars for an excellent camera. If you have an Android, you've paid less for an excellent camera.
Called out as I sit here with my 2 iPhones.
Right. I got 2 iPhones here where we're on an Android right now. And yeah. So I'm on a phone. I'm on a phone at this
Yeah.
moment in time.
Yeah. So you can use what you have, you can grow from there, and you can learn what really works for you so you can dial in on what you need to, which is your message, which is the conversations you're having, which is the community that you're building. And as Ella said, you're going to have those fear points. You will have those moments where you don't want to, or where you feel like you can't or you shouldn't. And all of those things are going to teach you to grow and to thrive from where you're at, no matter what part of your journey you are on. We do have a great question in the comments that I want to chat about before we go. And that is how you keep your eyes on the camera without being awkward. So, Ella, how do we focus on the camera, on the people that we're talking to, whether or not we have somebody else on screen with us without feeling awkward?
Okay, so I'm going to tell you my cheat right now. I'm using a teleprompter. So, so right now, this is an upgrade. Okay. This
Okay.
is not, I mean, you can start here. This one that I have is less than $100. Look, I need to be an affiliate for Amazon because
You do.
everything I get from it is from Amazon. But um, I'm using a teleprompter right now, and I actually have you on my teleprompter, which makes it a whole lot easier for me to look directly at you because I literally am. So,
Exactly.
but before I had the teleprompter, now this is going to take practice. First of all, you first have to know where your camera actually is. And I know that sounds funny to say, but especially for those of you that are using iPhones. If you're using any camera, any phone that has more than one lens, like the iPhone has 3 lenses. Which one of these do I need to use? You need to get into your whatever app you're going to be using to stream with, set your camera up, and then take your finger and point until you see where. So right now, if I do this, I'm going to point until I see my finger. Okay,
Yeah.
that's where I need to look. And if you need to,
Yeah.
get a little Post-it note
Mhm.
and stick it right there. I have some stickers that say "Looky here." They're arrows that say "Looky here."
Yes.
um, for you to remind you that that's where you need to look. And if you have to do that before you start your stream, to point at your camera, okay, there's my camera, that's where I'm looking, so that you're looking at the right lens. Because now phones, if you're using phones and even cameras, if you have more than one lens on that camera, you may not know which lens is the lens that you should be focusing on.
Yeah.
And then when it comes to if you are doing things that do require you to use a script, when I was starting out and I didn't have a teleprompter to put everything onto, I just kept my notes. I won't share my screen right now, but I just kept my notes in a little, I'm on a Mac, so I use text edit for my notes. And I would put it in a little corner wherever my camera happened to be. I put it
Yeah.
in a little corner as close to my camera as I possibly could get it. As I
Yes.
possibly could get it,
Yeah.
so that the glancing wasn't quite as far away as it would have been if I
Yeah.
had big notes. Also, with that, I also make the font at least 25
Big. Yep.
so that we don't have to see
Easy.
my eyes
Yeah.
scanning so much across teeny tiny words.
Yep.
Yeah.
When I used to use notes under my camera when I was filming, I would color code them too. So nice and
Mhm.
big color coding at every point. So I know already did blue, red is next, green is next. So I knew exactly where I was looking when I was glancing down. And I very much like the tip of keeping it as close to your camera as possible. Even if you're using something like Be Live to live stream where they have the agenda off to the side, I move my entire screen so that it's directly under the camera. So I'm looking at my guest and I'm looking at my agenda and I am not looking at myself so that I know I am making eye contact when possible.
Right.
So
Exactly.
now that we're at the end of our conversation, I want your 30-second final tip takeaway, Ella. Out of all of these things, what is the most important thing for our audience to walk away with?
The most important thing for you to walk away with is to give yourself grace. That's the most important thing for you to walk away with. There are, as much as you can prepare, there are going to be days that things are just not going to work.
Yeah.
And try as you might, prepare as you might, things are going to fall apart. And that's okay. It doesn't mean that there's anything wrong with you. It doesn't mean that there's anything wrong with your message. And it just means that that was the day of the day. The tech gods got you.
Yeah, that's
that
it.
day. And it's all right. You can go back and do it again. You can go back and do it next week, however you choose to do, but give yourself grace and don't allow those flub ups to keep you from getting out there and doing what it is that you set out to do.
There's always an opportunity to do it again. No matter what, you have tomorrow, you have next week, you have the future, and you can keep going forward with this. Ella, this has been so fun. This has been so educational. Thank you so much for joining us again. We know people are going to want to reach out. We know they're going to want to connect with you. So where can everybody find you online?
Well, social media wise, I hang out on LinkedIn. I love me some LinkedIn streets. If you're not on LinkedIn, you need to get into it. We are partying over there. That is where I am. I'm on Facebook from time to time. You'll see my live streams on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. And then if you want to reach out to me and you want to work with me, then you can obviously get into my DMs on any of those channels. And you can also go to my website, which is beyondvirtualevents.com.
Beautiful. And we are celebrating Women's Month all month long with guests just like Ella coming back for the next couple of weeks. So let us know what you want to learn more of down in the comments below, who you want to see, and drop us a comment letting us know what you want to hear from Ella the next time she comes back to speak here on Be Live. We will see you all again next week. Until then, we hope you all have a fantastic week and happy Women's Month.